This is Samuel Jacob Kirchner, voice of the breeze, welcoming you to our Saturday morning hangout meditation of the breeze. I want to start this morning with a wonderful song that I heard this week, which I haven't stopped thinking about. And it's not this song, but it's this one.
Is there nothing sacred anymore? When celebrities are deified, we still calling some countries third world. And crimes against little ones are punished with little law. And girls are taught to hide their curves as though they're flaws. Other girls are taught to expose them, but not on them. Wars are taught.
Can you start paying attention to your breathing? And as you are listening to this song, breathe with more ease and try to synchronize your breathing with the song, with the singing and the music. Be one with the breath. Follow the pace of the breath and the music. But there is no resistance, no friction.
Use our money for reasons other than what they say they're using it for. And small countries fall as the big debt keeps on growing. And silent pain is golden under the guise of religion. And boys are taught, thinking on it all.
I wonder if you can tell what's the difference between listening to this song and its very blatant in the face lyrics with or without that extra attention on the breath, on the pace of the breath. I know that for me, if there is one thing I can say about my biggest life accomplishment, so to speak, it is the ability, the acquired ability that I've learned to give myself to not just live from the head alone, but to accompany, collaborate, share whatever is happening nonstop in this brain, in this mind. Share it with the breath, with the heart, with the soul. So how does that work? You know, we live right now in a world in which there are so many stimuli, there are so many things coming at us. There is so much wrong. And if you try to process all that stuff that's happening in the world, you know, politics, hurricanes, shooting, all the terrible things that we keep being bombarded with, plus the daily occurrences. I mean, who doesn't have these stresses, these hijacks from the present every day? You know, you're doing something, you're on your course, and something comes at you and jolts you out of the present, out of your sense of well-being or success, if you consider it success, and just throws you into this place of stress and anxiety and despair and fear and yada yada yada. What do we do? What do we do about it? We cannot change that. It doesn't seem like it's going to relent. In fact, it seems like it's going to mount. It's going to be more of that. We are so exposed now. There's so many mirrors facing us. And it's too much to deal with just mentally alone. I mean, it's no surprise there are so many breakdowns and things we call mental illness and mental challenges. It's too much to process. And people snap left and right. I live in New York City, in the heart of it. I took a bus this morning at 6:30, and the bus was late, and to just see the people, those who are just, you know, left with the stress alone, dealing with it, you know, trying to make sense of it. Why is the bus not coming? As if, you know, doing that will bring the bus closer. And then this gentleman started talking to me, and he was going to the VA, and he was very tense about he has pains in his chest. He's a veteran, and he's got pains in his chest. This is all while waiting for the bus. And he says to me, you know, do you have $1 to give me? And I reach out, giving him $1. And he says, I need to get a drink before this checkup. And I said, what do you mean? He says, I got to get me some beer. You know, I'm very nervous about this checkup and in my chest pain. And of course, I want to say to him, so what? You're going to drink beer in the morning at 6:30 to help you with your chest pains, with the stress? But I'm not saying it because I know better. And I sit next to him in the bus, and all of a sudden he whispers in my ear, and I'm like almost a little thrown. What's going on now? And he whispers in my ear, and he says, "Tell me something good." So I say, "Breathe love." He says, "Thank you, man. You made my day." I didn't say anything else. I don't know what he understood. You know, usually I explain and, you know, I teach people how to breathe love, and I practice it all the time. And I think it's so intricate. But it sounded like this man just got what he needed just from this simple suggestions. I mean, it's not such a deal breaker. Breathe love, you know? It's not complicated at all. But in a sense, you have to be innocent enough to be able to process something like this and make use of it. Thing is, I'm going back to this song. Is there anything sacred anymore? You know? To me, the opposite of sacredness is shame, humiliation, disrespect, dishonoring. So much of that is happening right now. So when this wonderful singer, I really want to mention her name because she is so fantastic. Amel Larrieux. Amel Larrieux. Name of the song is Sacred. When she sings about, is there anything sacred anymore? Who can't relate to it? We live now at a time where it seems like nothing is sacred anymore. I mean, just look at the things we're hearing between these crazy shootings that are not stopping, and a president who gives an example, almost licensed to these things with his own energy. I'm sorry I have to say that, but that's how I see it. I mean, and I'm not really here to blame him. I don't really believe much in blame. I believe more in responsibility. But I do see, presidents are an example. They are role models. And, when you exemplify disrespect and meanness of spirit and belligerence and talking down at people, it gives license to many of these situations that are just waiting to happen. But again, I want to come back. I want to come back to us. Like, what do I have to do with it? I get triggered. I get triggered back and forth. Every day I get triggered. Yet I have learned how to deal with my triggers, not by reacting. I mean, of course, I have a reaction. I'm reaction waiting to happen to anything that threatens my safety, like everybody else. And I've learned not to suffocate my reaction because some of it has to do just with triggers in the brain. Definitely in the left lobe of our brain, there are places that if we just trigger them a tiny bit, they flare up. We have a classical Pavlovian dog reaction of knee-jerk reaction, something we don't have control over. But then, and that's what victimization is. I mean, you're victimized by things all the time. The question is, do we need to stay there? See, there's also sometimes a tendency to build a castle around it and become like a permanent victim and be stripped of any power, particularly power of now. The present moment is constantly happening. And if we are in our triggered being victim role, posture, position, we cannot connect to the present. We cannot connect to our soul. We cannot connect to love. We cannot connect to our breath because we're holding it in that postures. You know how many people hold their breath for long, long, long times, for many years, about things, that have happened long, long, long time ago, which were horrendous. But they're holding on to them because that is the only way they can make sense of reality, is to be in that place in the past and project to the future. This is not simple stuff. This is not easy at all, at all, at all, at all. This is, to me, what's behind mental illness. I have mental illness. I was diagnosed with recurrent severe depression 27 years ago. And that that verdict-like diagnosis is hanging over me all the time. But I haven't stopped there. So I have mental illness. Yeah. I have all the reasons to have mental illness. But I don't wish in the present moment to live with mental illness. It's a label, you know? And in the moment, I can take a breath. I can connect to the pace of my breath. And I can open my heart and I can have compassion for my triggers and my reactions. And then slowly I can redirect my anger, my fear, my sadness. I can redirect them with the help of the breath and not remain the victim of what happened a long time ago or even a minute ago. It happens so many times a day that I get triggered by things that are out of my control. And then the choice is whether I want to remain after I have acknowledged and felt the anger or the sadness or the fear. Do I need to stay there or can I move, breathe, redirect that? That is the question. And take responsibility for my reaction. Taking responsibility is increasing the ability to respond. So crucial. Makes such a difference. I don't like being miserable. You know, I know there's so many horrible things in the world happening, but you know, ever since I've been alive, there have been horrible things in the world that happen, also in my own life. And I just don't believe in marrying them and getting stuck with that. I want to increase my quality of life. There's always something to be joyful about. There's always something to love. Even the very thing that I suffer about, I can eventually bring love to them, breathe love into them. All the losses, horrible losses. Who doesn't go through losses? You know, who doesn't lose health, loved ones, possessions, positions? Who? Do we want to stay stuck in that loss? I hope you don't. And if you don't, then we can talk. I mean, we can talk anyway, but I really have something to share with you about the determination not to get stuck in any of these initial knee-jerk reactions and being part of the loop of victimization, which of course gives us license to victimize others. This is the name of the game nowadays. We are living in a big loop of victimization, you know, whether it is politically between countries, you know, this whole craziness between our president and the president of North Korea, you know, it's all victimizations, you know. I mean, who's victim? The Palestinians are the victims of the Israelis, who were the victims, the Jews who were victims of the Nazis. Everybody has a reason why they should retaliate. Of course, we have to protect ourselves, protect our borders, protect our well-being. There's a fine line when self-protection becomes aggression and attack and violence. And my main point, what I always try to look at is, am I victimizing myself? Am I bullying myself? Am I abandoning myself? I want to make sure that I don't. And I have work to do around that all the time. That's the practice. That's the practice. So today, I want to share with you, just through a song, through some music, how to stay, how to come back to the pace of the breath, and make that the main goal to connect to the pace of the breath. The pace of the breath is the pace of life. It's not the pace of stress. It's the pace of life, the life in you. so that you become life and not just the spectator or the reporter about life. This is direct experience of life rather than, being in a bubble, thinking, thinking, thinking. So it's very simple. In the background, I will increase that track. In the background, you're hearing the sound of chimes. Breathing in on the higher chime through the nose. Breathing out to the lower chime. Breathing in. Breathing out. Opening your heart. Breathing in life. Breathing out life. Open your heart to the breath. Make room for it. Make space for it. Love. Notice in the background there is breathe. Love. And let's make this breathing the main focus of our attention. And we can multitask, listen to other things as we continue to breathe in through the nose with ease and breathe out the nose with ease. And I'm going to share with you the 5 steps of the breath. We're going to start with shaking like a hummingbird and awakening as you continue to do it from the pace of the breath. Keep synchronizing your breathing, the music, and your moving. Flowing like a river. Continuing to breathe with ease. Next to the pace of the breath. Be one with your breath. Standing like a tree with your knees bent and your hands open. Open your heart. Have compassion for yourself. Make space in your breath, in your body. Be one with the breath. Breathe love. walking like an elephant with grace. Right hand on your heart, left hand on your belly. Walking mindfully. Step by step, breath by breath, dancing, celebrating this moment. Celebrating being present, connected to the soul. Being one breath. Namaste. Namaste. When I am in my soul, in a place of love, peace, kindness. And you are in your soul, in a place of love, kindness, peace. We are one. I'm trying to show you my tattoo, my Namaste tattoo. I love, love, love Namaste. But one thing I always keep remembering about Namaste, that is, you have to be, I have to be in my peace, love, kindness soul. I have to honor it in myself. And then I can honor yours responsibly, and you can do the same. And then we are one. Okay. Just want to let you know how you can, if you are interested, to do more work around these lines, taking responsibility of flowing and living and following the pace of the breath, and thinking from there, and speaking from there, and making plans from there, and living from there, from your breath, from your heart, from your soul. You can go to our website, thebreeze, BREAZE.com, and we have several programs and offerings other than this Saturday morning meditation hangout at 8 o'clock, which will be on YouTube now for 24 hours a day, and also on the website at the Gym for the Soul. Some of our programs are learning how to develop this daily practice in different ways. You can explore that when you go to the website. And for today, I want to say, I don't know what to say. But I do want to say this is Samuel Jacob Kirshner, voice of the breeze, wishing you a day filled with joy, oxygen, and ease. Namaste.